So will today's meeting with media executives change anything about the way the press covers the new president? Joining us now is Dana Perino, co-host of The Five, and of course, famously, a fantastic former White House press secretary.
Thank you.
Dana, it's great to see you. So
I love your new show. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're sweet. Thank you. There are all kinds of conflicting reports about what happened, but here's the account from the New York Post, which I don't think has been substantially denied by the Trump people. They said that Trump started out with Jeff Zucker of CNN saying, "I hate your network, everyone at CNN is a liar, and you should be ashamed." So this, it seems to me, sounds plausible. Isn't this one of the main reasons people voted for Trump? So he would sit across from Jeff Zucker and say, "You're a liar, you should be ashamed"?
Well, I think what they really wanted was results, right? So, and I do think that the best way to deal with media bias is to get results. And if you look at the 100-day plan that he laid out, and I do agree about 100 to 200 days, he's going to have a chance to make a big impression. And so if you get results, you handle the media bias issue. Republicans have to deal with this kind of thing all the time. Though I do think there were some reporters during the campaign, Jenna Johnson in the Washington Post, I think, is one of them, who did what you and I learned in journalism school, right? You go to the event, you observe, you talk to some people, you put that in a story, you find out what the news peg is in the lead, and you let the consumer decide how they think about it. I do think Donald Trump has utilized the media to a great effect. He's also utilizing new technologies to communicate directly to the people. And it sounds like this meeting today was a chance to clear the air. And I'm for more relations, not fewer. But of course, you know, like the problem a lot of people had with me, including Bill O'Reilly, is that I was too nice, right?
Yeah,
and so I look back and I think, could I have been meaner? Like, I personally, probably not. And also because the boss that I worked for, I always would imagine if he were watching me right now, if he wasn't going to be proud of something that was coming out of my mouth, and I swallowed it and I didn't say it. Times have changed. I get that. And pushing back on the media works for Donald Trump in a way, but the thing that will work the best is getting the results. Well, they have changed. And I guess I would argue that it's not just Trump. I mean, the other half of the equation is the media and the way they behaved. And I think they did carry water for Hillary Clinton. And so here's the question, since we're rethinking everything in this new era, why should the Trump administration continue to treat legacy news outlets like they're the main source of news for people? So the Washington Post, which has been a big deal paper for my whole lifetime, has a circulation daily of less than 500,000. That's smaller than a lot of websites and radio shows. Why shouldn't Trump say, you know what, I'm going by volume. If you've got a bigger audience, I'm speaking to you before these guys. Is that an illegitimate way, or do they have a monopoly? That's already happening, and that's already happening, and I would argue that President Obama is actually already doing that. For example, when he went on Between Two Ferns, who covered that for an entire week, and even beyond? You can pick out different types of media now, and if you're a voracious news consumer like me, if you're an omnivore, right, and you like to read all sorts of different types of media, and I know that you in particular like long-form journalism and magazine articles, the long essays, you can pretty much as a news consumer find anything that you want right now. So Donald Trump can, no matter who he talks to, he could pick any outlet to talk to, and he'll be able to get coverage based on that. I do think there's something to be said about if you are in the government, if you're in the administration, to have legacy media organizations covering you is a good thing. Remember what Les Moonves said of CBS News. It's great for ratings, and maybe, I don't know if he was unhappy with the result or not, but let's just be honest. Donald Trump is going to continue to be good for ratings no matter what happens between now and January 20th when he's sworn in, and for at least 4 and possibly 8 years beyond. Well, I tend to agree with you. That's why I was sad to see what the press did to themselves. So you keep hearing these leaks, I don't know if they're true or not, about who might become the next White House press secretary, and it's a lot of names we're familiar with or we know here in the press. Is that the pool from which he should be drawing the next press secretary, a professional journalist, or should he look outside, do you think? What makes the best press secretary? I think it's two main things. Somebody that he trusts implicitly to speak on his behalf. Okay, so someone that, because as a spokesperson, you can't always be checking with the president in order to make sure you have it exactly right. Now, that happens for a while, but you need to be able to trust that person implicitly. So if that's within that circle of people he's talking about, great. The second thing is that a press secretary is really only worth their salt if they understand the policy very well, and they have to have the access. So you have to, not everyone in the country will agree with decisions President Trump makes, but they should be able to agree with the decision-making process. And the only way to know for sure about that is that the press secretary is in the room. So I would advocate for the press secretary to have more access to the president as well. Yeah, I think it seems essential. Otherwise, it just gets embarrassing. Dana Perino, thanks a lot for joining. No, it does. You see these people hanging out there. They don't know anything about the policy they're supposed to be defending, and it's bad for everybody. President Bush 43 was great about that. I think President Obama's been very good about that with his press secretary, and I expect that would continue. Hope so. Okay. Dana Perino, thanks a lot for that. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.